In this video, we are going through the lower block science, which is for primary 3 and 4, and the module of cycles. Topic is plants, and we are looking at some of the previous exam questions that have appeared before. Larry has a seed A. He placed it in a dark cupboard as shown below. So seed A is here. There's moist cotton wool. Seed A germinated. Explain why. So to germinate, which is to grow into a plant, the seeds need these three things called wow, right? So the first W is warmth. The second, the O is oxygen, or also known as air. And the third one is water, right? So warmth is usually available if it's in the air. So unless you are in winter or you put it in a refrigerator, then there will be no warmth. Oxygen is if you remove the air from the experiment or if you use boiled water. Now, boiled water has the effect of removing all the air from the water, so there will be no oxygen in the water. And third, water, of course, if you do not provide water, then the plant will not grow. So seed A germinated. Explain why. So seed A germinated because all three factors were present. There was warmth, water, and oxygen. So seed A will germinate. Now the key thing about germination, right, you have to learn or you have to realize is that the thing that they do not need, so do not need, is something called light. So light is not needed for germination. If there's no light, seeds will still germinate. Write the stages of the life cycle of a plant in the diagram below. So you have first the seed, which becomes the young plant, which becomes the adult plant. All right, so seed to young plant to adult plant. Let me just write this properly. A-D-U-L-T, adult plant. James set up an experiment as shown below. After a few days, he noticed that the bean seeds placed in the room had germinated. So in the room had germinated, but not those in the refrigerator. So not in the refrigerator. From this experiment, we can conclude that so room and refrigerator, the difference between these two locations is warmth. So the room has warmth, but the refrigerator does not. So we can conclude that the seeds need, is it air? Nope. Right, both have air. Is it light? Nope. Seeds do not need light to germinate. Is it water? Nope. All right, both have water. Is it warmth? Yes. All right, so both in the room and in the refrigerator, the difference is warmth. So the answer is 4. The diagram below shows the growth of a young plant with two missing pictures, A and B. Which one of the following shows the correct pictures for A and B? So whatever this picture is, I know that the first thing that will grow is the root, because the root needs to absorb the minerals and the water from the soil. So after the root grows, root will first grow, then the plant will grow, or maybe some young shoots will grow over here. All right, so I'm looking for a picture that roughly looks like that. Let's take a look. So is it A? This is correct. This is wrong. It doesn't go back to becoming a seed. Is it this where it has the shoot or the leaves, the young leaf directly? Nope. The root will come out first, so this should be first. Is it this? Yes, this is correct. Nope, but this should be first. All right, because this has a smaller root than this, so this is a small root, big root. So this is incorrect. This should be first and this should be second. So the second, number 2 is correct because this is the first of the roots coming out. Then these are more roots coming out. So I was wrong over here. So you need to have a first of the small roots, then the more roots, and then the third one is we've got roots and some kind of a leaf over here, which is actually this one. So the answer is number 2. Study the following setups which were placed in a classroom. Which of the following setups allowed the seeds to germinate? So again, germination requires WOW, which is warmth, oxygen, and water. So water that has been boiled, remember, boiled water has no air. So this one is not going to germinate because there's no air. Setup B has wet cloth, it has a seed, it has air over here, it's not placed in the refrigerator, so this will germinate. Setup C has wet tissue, cooked seed. Alright, cooked seed also cannot germinate because they have already died. Alright, it's no longer a living thing after you cook it, they have died. Likewise, if I cook you, you will probably not be a living thing anymore, so you will have died. So the D, seed, wet soil, yes, I need this, they have air, so D and B are the ones that will germinate. So the answer is number 1. Which one of the following graphs below correctly shows the relationship between the mass of the seed leaves and the height of the seedling? So this is the seed. This is the seed, and then after that there will be a small root that comes out, and then there will be a bigger root that comes out with a shoot over here. Now this becomes the seed leaf, which provides the food for before the first leaf. Alright, so provides the food before the leaves appear. Now why do the plant need food before the leaves appear? Because they do not have leaves, so they cannot make food. Alright, so they do not have leaves, so they cannot make food. So therefore, this is their store of food. So that's why as the plant grows, before the first leaves come out, the store of food will get lower and lower. And by this low period, hopefully the leaves will come out and then they do not need that food anymore. So let's take a look. So mass of seed leaves will go higher as the height of seedling. That's wrong, alright? Because it will not increase because the seedlings are using the food. Mass of seed leaves will have this, this arrow curve, which is also wrong. Mass of seed leaves will go straight, which is also wrong. Okay, mass of seed leaves will go down. This is correct because the food will be used by the seedling. All right, so as the food is used, the mass will decrease. So the answer is number 4. Study the diagram of the life cycle of a plant as shown below. So I have a seed, seedling, adult plant. So if you look at this diagram, something's a bit odd. Seedling to adult plant is correct. Adult plant to seed is correct. Seed to seedling is not this way. It's actually this way. One of the arrows has been drawn wrongly. Circle the incorrect arrow. So this arrow is drawn wrongly. It should be in this direction. The passage below explains the development of a plant's life cycle. However, some of the information are missing. Fill in the blanks with the correct words. When a seed germinates, what grows downwards first? It's the roots. Alright, so a seed, when it germinates, the roots will grow downwards first to absorb water plus mineral salts. Then the first leaves appear. The seedling starts to make its own what? Alright, when the seedling has leaves and there is a sun, it will start to make its own food. The seedling gradually grows into an adult plant. All right, so from the seedling will grow into adult plant. The adult plant will bear flowers and then fruits. Okay, so again, I have a plant, all right, which will have flowers, which will have fruits, which will have fruits have seeds, and the seeds will become a new plant. All right, so those seeds will continue the life cycle. Okay, so this is correct. So it's roots, food, adult, and fruits. Sam had grown some beans. He found out that as the height of the seedling increases, the mass of the seed leaves decreases. All right, so which graph below shows Sam's result? Again, quite similar to the question above. As the height of the seed leaf, roots, seedlings. So this one will decrease as the trees grow bigger and bigger, as the seedling grows bigger and bigger. So it will go down like that. So therefore this is wrong, this is wrong, this is correct, and this is wrong. So the answer is 3. Look at the setups below. They are all placed at room temperature. So room temperature means there is warmth. All right, so it's important to realize what the question is telling you. So setup A, seeds, you have dry cotton wool, sealed glass box. So this has no water. So again, you need WOW, which is warmth, oxygen, and water for the seeds to germinate. So this has moist cotton wool. So yes, you have, let's just write this down, oxygen and water. So you have water. Black box with hole. Black box with hole means you have no light. Hole means you have air going in, and therefore you have oxygen. So this one will germinate. So let's look at setup C. It has a lamp, which means there is light. It has seeds, it has moist cotton wool. So this will also germinate because the light is just there to trick you. There is no difference whether there is light or not. So setup D, there is a seeds, there's moist cotton wool, open window, that means there is air plus warmth, right? Because there's an open window over here. So does it have oxygen and water? Yes, it does. So it will also germinate. So B, C, and D will germinate, which is number 4. Devi wanted to find out if the location of the pots of plants X, Y, and Z affects the growth of plants. So so if he wants to find the location, therefore the changed variable, or what is changed in this experiment, should only be the location. And if she wants to find out whether it affects the growth of plants, what you measured, or the measured variable, should be the growth, or how tall or how short the plant has grown. All right, so nothing else should change except the location, and nothing else should be measured except the growth. So let's take a look. The width of the pot, 10, 15, 20, so that's not correct. Location, garden, open field, dark room, yep, somewhat correct. Duration, 777, correct. Number of plants, 444, correct. Devi's teacher said that she did not conduct a fair experiment. That is correct. What change must she make to the setups to make it a fair experiment? So like I mentioned here, the only changed variable should be the location, which is this. So therefore, she should change the width of the pot to be all the same. So use pots of the same width, correct. Conduct the experiment for 10 days, nope. Put all the pots in the same location, that's not correct. You should put it in different location. Use a different number of plants, not correct. You should use the same number of plants. So the answer is number 1. Study the graph below. What is the relationship between the number of days after germination and the mass of the seed leaves? Again, you should be looking at a downward curve, which is correct, like that. So As the number of the days after germination increase, the mass of the seed leaf increase. That's wrong. It should decrease. As the number of days increase, the mass of the seed leaf decrease. This is correct. As the number of days remain the same, the mass, this is not correct. Remain the same, the seed leaf should also remain the same. As the number of days after germination remain the same, the mass of the seed leaf does not correct. Okay, so the only correct one is as the number of days increase, the mass of the seed leaf will decrease. All right, so the answer is number 2.